going back to my first love, was that as a laboratory-based chemist? Well, that started when I was 11 or 12 years old, as I've been playing cards for money from the age of 6, because that was the sort of thing we did in our home, had people round. My parents were very hospitable people. And then after dinner, there were various games, usually games of chance, chase the ace, were played. And the sort of big gambling that went on was twopence halfpenny. Some of you may be too young to know what twopence halfpenny meant. That meant 2.5 old pennies, the equivalent today of 5 pennies. Of course, that was a lot more money then because of inflation than it is now. But I would be given that money to play with. I got pocket money of 3 pennies a week. But I also think the money for the gambling would have come from my father. And we would play. And nobody in our social relationships thought it strange that children were playing with adults. And I've asked other people this question: did you play cards in your family or elsewhere as a child? And sometimes the answer is not at all, and we never gambled. But sometimes they agree with me. They were in the same social milieu. It's quite interesting. My father first took me to a horse race when I was 11. Not with my mother nor my sister, just we 2 men went. I found it interesting. Of course, I knew nothing about gambling at that time. I was completely naive. And I don't think my father knew much more, a bit more. It's interesting, in the first race, there was a horse running called Shackleton. And I was very interested in Arctic exploration at the time. So I said, oh, I fancy that horse. Or was it? I wouldn't have used the words fancy, I suppose. But my father, of course, took no notice and bet on a different horse. Shackleton romped in at 20-1. So I said to my father, what does 20-1 mean? And he said, oh, you couldn't get 20-1 on that horse. I knew differently because I saw it when they used to chalk it up on blackboards showing the prices they offered in each horse. I learnt later you could go from one bookmaker to another to find the best price you could get. So that was their form of advertising. And so I would have, if we'd actually bet on it, we would have won 20 times whatever we bet. So if it'd been 1 shilling, as in those days, that would have been £1, which would be quite a lot of money for an 11-year-old then. course, we've had rampant inflation, and it's very hard to equate how much something was worth to the current day. But you note, because I said it before, my parents gave me threepence a week pocket money at the age of 6, or even maybe even younger. I used to spend 2 pennies of that on either the Beano or Dandy magazines. They only came out alternately once a week because of paper being rationed just after the Second World War, or even during the Second World War, maybe. And they gave me a penny a week to spend on sweets. Confectionery, as people say.